Welcome back to part 2 of Qi Coils Frequency Basics. I'm Carol Merlo, and I'm really happy that you're here. So let's continue talking about the scientific evidence and the why of using Qi coils. So we're going to talk about sound frequency healing, pulsed electromagnetic field healing, rife therapy, scalar energy therapy, and yin and yang. So you can get a firm understanding of what this technology is. Let's start with sound frequencies. So I'm sure you've noticed that when you are upset or stressed out or distracted, turning on music changes you. Isn't that fascinating? And the key to this is something called entrainment. Entrainment is a phenomenon where external sound frequencies or the human voice or even touch or being in the proximity of another human being causes your brain to adapt and adjust. So if you're on one frequency track and it's really frenetic or stressed or angry or irritable or something, when you get into an environment where there is sound in particular, that is not that's calming, that's healing, your brain within about 10 minutes will begin to harmonize and synchronize with that. And that's why sound healing is so powerful. And it doesn't have to be music, it can be just frequencies, which is what we do with Qi coils. The second thing to talk about is rife frequencies. Now, this is pretty amazing. This guy, Dr. Royal Rife, was the first guy to create a microscope way back in the 20s. And he discovered things like microbes and viruses and bacteria, all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. And he got really engaged with this idea of what do cells do. And he noticed that cells have a frequency or they vibrate depending on the health of the cell. So he developed a machine that would correspond to the vibration of cancer in cells. And he started using this machine, and the cancer cells started to either die or heal. And this was tremendous, very new and very exciting research. He cured, I think, 25 people of cancer. And that was so great. And guess what? The medical establishment was not pleased. So his work was buried. His equipment they took it away and destroyed it. And back in the 1970s, there was a refresher. All of a sudden, rife frequencies and rife machines started being produced again. And they started doing all kind of research with all these different conditions that people have and what happens at the cellular level in terms of frequency. So right now, there's over 10,000 rife frequencies. And they're amazing. There's so many. There's ones for stress. There's ones for back pain, ones for bone healing, ones for sore throat, ones for autism. I mean, you name it. If there's a health condition out there, there's a rife frequency for it. And the beauty of this is you can play the rife frequency without listening to it. This is really valuable. Say you're at work. You can, put the coils on and play rife frequencies and not have to disturb anybody at work. And they work quickly, by the way. It's really cool. I'd love to tell you some stories. Okay, so that's awesome. I want you to try that. All right, let's talk about PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. And before I start, I want you to know that there are over 3,000 studies already done. It might be more. This technology was picked up by NASA when the astronauts started going out and getting really sick because they lost the frequency of the Earth, called Schumann resonance. And they did this other experiment where they put people in this it's like a box underground where there was no frequencies they could get, like lead lined, okay? And those people started to get sick. And as soon as they introduced a frequency, this 17.83 frequency, these people started to get well again. And now they have little boxes they put on astronaut costumes, whatever they call those, and spacesuits. And now when astronauts go out in space, they are still connected to the electromagnetic field energy of the Earth. and they stay well that way. So that's cool. Now, PEMF, as you've read in this slide, stimulates cells and allows them to reboot their chemical and electrical processes to function normally again so the body can repair itself. And this, there's a lot of PEMF devices out there that are like things you lay on, and they have them for horses and they have them for animals. What the Qi Coils are PEMF devices that you don't need to have touching you. They emit through the air. And depending on the size of the coil, you can go from like 3 feet to 11 feet to, 6,000 square feet, depending on the coil. And so this is one of the most powerful of the technologies and works really, really well. Here's some of the benefits of PEMF: reducing pain and inflammation, improving your sleep quality, repairing your tissues. So you go break a bone and you use the PEMF and it'll heal you more quickly. Really cool. Increases your circulation, lowers your blood pressure, and there's a lot more. Love this stuff. Now I want to shift out of the electromagnetic spectrum and talk about scalar energy. Scalar energy doesn't exist as an electromagnetic frequency because it has no frequency. Yeah, has no frequency. This is like the originating source. This is Qi. This is spirit. This is God energy. And so when people sit in a room where scalar energy is, they experience enhanced benefits, huge benefits for health and wellness. The longer you're in it, the better you feel. It's one of those kind of things. What's nice about scalar is it cancels out the effects of EMF, that high frequency EMF that we were talking about in part 1. And so scalar energy is really powerful. The Qi coils create scalar energy when there's 2 of them or 4 of them, and there's a yin or yang. So let's talk about yin or yang. So here's a couple coils, and you can see the yin goes counterclockwise and yang goes clockwise. And that spin correlates with the earth. I have another video that explains all of this. I'm not going to go over it here. But basically, you can use a yin coil or a yang coil. When I started, all I needed and wanted was a yin coil. If I turned on the yin and yang together, it would really stress me out. I would feel jittery, distracted. So what I needed was just yin. And I used the yin coil for 4 to 6 weeks before I started using the yang coil. Why? Because my energy was so out of it. I really was stressed. I really didn't feel good. I didn't have enough faith in myself or anything else. And this really, like think of an empty swimming pool. And if you put a fire hose in that empty swimming pool, how much faster it would fill than, say, a garden hose? Okay, so I was like an empty swimming pool, and this filled me. I got to the point where I could experience the energy filling me. I would walk around at a store or anywhere and feel the energy. It was amazing that I finally broke through into a place where, after years of meditation, I really started to feel spiritual energies around me. I now use the yin and the yang coils. Now, if you're a kind of person that can't get off the couch, use yang. Give yourself some energy. Give yourself some creativity and productivity and vibe, right? Because that's what the yang does. Using them together is great once you have a sense of balance. And, if I get all stressed out and really something's really awful, I'll go back to just doing yin. I mean, it isn't always, you can do whatever you want with it, right? You got to go on your feelings. Now, finally, I want to talk about frequency versus voltage. Because when we're talking about scalar, this is an important conversation. So voltage tells you how much energy is available to move electrons. Frequency is how often the waveform repeats itself. They're completely different things, right? But what's cool is this paragraph: voltage in a PEMF device is responsible for creating the electromagnetic pulse. The higher the voltage, the higher the magnetic field, which can penetrate deeper into the body. So that's why we have these big, giant Qi coils, aura coils, 2 feet by 2 feet. When you're in the energy field of these Qi coils, you have much higher voltage, much more power than if you use one of the, or say you use crystals or something like that, which is really, really not too much voltage. So this is important to understand, especially in this context. Cellular voltage is a phenomenon that is pretty interesting. Notice here that it says to have a healthy cell, you need 70 to 90 millivolts, and they can actually measure the millivolts of cells. And then, as you can see on a descending scale, by the time your cells are vibrating at 15 to 20 millivolts, you have cancer. That's what happens to them. So what you want to do is create voltage in your cells to maintain your physical health. So scalar energy resets and opens energy flows for cellular communication, nutrient and oxygen absorption, DNA repair, and brain balance. Now this slide just goes through in graphic form some of the different frequencies so you can get an idea of what it looks like. So the top left is a rife frequency. It's an electromagnetic frequency, it's a low frequency, and it's a single frequency. Now, quantum frequencies, and the company that produces the Qi coils has quantum frequencies and higher quantum frequencies. So depending on which device you have and what you've purchased, the higher quantum frequencies you can see here on the right are way more, much more of a spectrum. Think of it as a polyphonic symphony, right? And then you get into higher quantum. Now you're talking about huge, vast, deep, rich, resonant frequencies that are moving throughout you as you play them. And then finally, we have the frequencies plus the scalar with the Qi coils, the yin and yang together create a scalar energy field. Pretty amazing. So if you want to learn more or you want to buy Qi coils, then just go to our website, qifrequencies.com. You can learn about events if you happen to be in the Dallas area, or you can talk to us and we can help you experience the power of this and really improve your health and wellness. And I'm so excited for you to learn all this. Thank you for joining me.